Right, who's up for some good old speculation for high seas? Because even though we have the classes now, it kind of raises a lot more questions. We have a bigger set size, even marginally, right? Still bigger set size, more marvels going on, and yeah, a new class by way of at least Necromancer, plus the hint at Pirate being something. So this is where my mind's at currently, right? So generally speaking, when we have our dual class, right, we have one pivotal class, and then we have the other two co-classes. So if you think about all the dual class cards to date, they're all Assassin. Right? So Assassin is the pivotal class, which makes sense. It's the easy way for them to increase the card pool. So for high seas, my mentality would be that, well, Necromancer needs to be that pivotal class because they need to bump up Necromancer. So between Puffin and Gravy, we have basically items and allies, right? I could see them doing something with allies for Mech. It could fit in there, right? Automatons, even just Puffin's Parrot. Could be interesting. And then easier and probably more certain to me would be Gravy Bones cross Marilyn as draw and discard, because it feeds into, well, both their abilities, and it just seems like the simplest mechanic to, again, tie them together. So then that leaves us with what exactly Pirate would encompass. So my initial thought would be landmark treasures and, some sort of gold interaction, whether it's a generation or some other payoff outside of the hero abilities. But another very interesting thought that was brought up to me was, what if Pirate was just fully supported as its own class, right? It's mentioned again by LSS as being a class in high seas, so we could see Pirate itself seeing full support rather than having our dual class cards. So in that case, all three heroes can make use of a Pirate card pool because they are Pirate/X class. Now, the curiosity there, though, is, again, although we have that statement that Pirate and Necromancer are both classes, so far the cards we've gotten aren't our usual dual class mechanics if, again, Pirate is being distinguished from Mechanologist, Necromancer, and Ranger. So again, in the case of our Assassin cards, it's all Assassin/Ninja, Assassin/Ranger, Assassin/Warrior. For our current cards revealed, we have Golden Skywarden as Pirate Mechanologist, not Pirate/Mechanologist, Chart the High Seas, Pirate Necromancer, and Big Game Trophy Shot as Pirate Ranger. So that is definitely a curiosity to me, because it means we might get dual class cards, right, with those three pivotal heroes, but then we might get Pirate separate to that as well. Now, in terms of what we can actually rationalize given the cards revealed, well, we have Puffin to Golden Cog as number 1 to 42, right? This represents a hero to token, so it gives us a rough idea of the card numbers associated with each class. Thrown in there as well, we have a Pirate Mech card at number 4 with Golden Skywarden, and then a normal Mech card at 27. So now we know that, again, it's around 40 cards from Puffin to the token, Mechanologist to the token, and then we also know within that 40, we have a separation between Pirate Mech and normal Mech, meaning that that's probably what we'll see across the board with all three heroes. When it comes to the other cards, we have Gravy to Marilyn to Goldfin Harpoon being 43 to 82, so Necromancer to Ranger, 43 to 82, and then again within Marilyn, that separation between Pirate Ranger and normal Ranger, because Goldfin Harpoon, to me, it represents that split. So currently this means 40 class cards per each class, with the breakdown being hero, equipment, then we have our Pirate class cards, so Pirate Mech, Pirate Neck, Pirate Ranger, and then our normal class cards, and then of course our tokens to round up that 40 card count. So what does that give us in totality? Well, that's 120 cards out of our 265 card pool, which leaves plenty of room for our dual class or Pirate cards, or even both. So if we go over some rough numbers, right? If we do have dual class cards, again, with Necromancer as the pivotal class, we associate 20-ish cards to that, right, similar to the Hunted. That still leaves a huge room. 30 generics, 14 expend slot, which we know is a definite, a few tokens. We could still see easily 56 cards be attributed to Pirate, whether or not that's Pirate by way of landmarks, treasure again, gold interactions, or just strictly speaking, a Pirate card pool for a potential future, or even relevant Pirate hero within the set. Now, set breakdown aside onto the marvels, right? For the actual high seas pool, we know there are 21 marvels, and we can actually place a decent chunk of them, right? So we know for a fact we have Puffin, Gravy Bones, Marilyn, and currently Chum, Friendly First Mate, so that's 4 out of the 21, but we can also pretty much speculate that we'll see the young versions of the heroes, and I would definitely expect more allies for our Necromancer. Currently, using the young Gravy Bones artwork, we have one character that is a clear representation of Chum, our friendly first mate, right? He has the same outfit on and the same hat, So my mind goes to the other two people featured in that young artwork as two more allies for Necromancer. As for then the speculation side of things, I would also expect to see our parrot friend for Puffin, right? Again, the fact that we see it grow up between the young and the old, it could have a nice interesting mechanic of, say, fetching Cogs for us. All in all, again, allies being a mechanic for all three heroes being, either a pirate mechanic or just some sort of crossover with Necromancer, to me makes a bit of sense. And then currently, right, with the history products gone, we are missing our way to get Marvel variants of the older heroes, so I would also expect Riptide to be tucked into this set, similar to what we saw with Briar, and then, of course, Solitary Confinement. As for the remaining slots, well, my mind goes to a few more Necro allies, probably, again, if we get 3 Majestic, Chum, and our 2 other pirate cohorts, right? I'd expect 3 rare versions of Necromancer allies, if not common as well, right? Again, the plethora of them, since this is going to a mechanic. Now, we know that Chum is not a legendary, so you can take 3 of them. So if it was, say, 6 Necro allies, that is 18 cards out of your deck that are going to be your allies, the cards you want to put in your graveyard and play. So I think that's a reasonable amount, right? And then in terms of Ranger, again, I kind of expect an ally for each of them. So if we're giving our little parrot friend, Puffin Jr. to Puffin, then I'd expect someone for Marilyn as well, along with a Marvel Harpoon, right? A bigger payoff than, say, Goldfin Harpoon, although we do know that the Goldfin Harpoon does feature in the treasure pack. And then for Mechanologist, right, I definitely expect to see a Cog. Again, similarly, we have the token Cog in the treasure pack, right? I'd expect a more functional, better Cog as a Marvel. That leaves 3 more slots, so I've gone with landmarks for each of the 3 classes. Basically, a hideout, if you will, right? Their resting place, something with a nice interaction and is more of a fun, flavorful card, of course, like the other landmarks that we have seen. On to the treasure pack. So, for the treasure packs, we know that there are 11 Marvels. Currently, the only one revealed is our Goldfin Harpoon. Again, represented for treasure pack with the gold symbol, and then the triangle as our Marvel. That leaves quite a hefty amount. 10 more Marvels to try and think up. Well, we know that Golden Cog is not a Marvel, because, again, it has the circular symbol, which, for rarity's sake, I think definitely differentiates it from the Goldfin Harpoon, although, curiously, we have a double side for the Golden Cog, but not the Goldfin Harpoon just yet. So, what about the rest of the cards? Well, I'd expect LSS to try and keep it even, so if we're getting Goldfin Harpoon, I'd expect to see another Mech and a Necro Marvel card within the treasure pack, but I would be happier if the rest of them are then tied to Pirate, again, whether or not it's just a young Blitz class for now, right? And maybe even a sneaky merchant. So I've gone with just a whole bunch of pirate landmarks and then a young variant of our pirate hero. So similarly with the legendary case, right, we have Enigma New Moon, who was featured in the Golden Packs of Mistveil as legendary rarity and then Marvel rarity for the better chaseable version. So I'd expect a young pirate hero at the very least, and then maybe a merchant hero again if they're not going to do a young and adult version of pirate, right? I can see it being split between pirate and then another fun, flavorful merchant, something that works off of gold, since we have a silver variant and a copper variant currently in terms of merchant. That brings us to our high seas legendaries, right? 6 in the set and then another 4 in the treasure pack. So, right, again, usual split up. Mech, Necro, Ranger, a pirate one in there as well, generic, and then of course a reprint for the treasure pack, right? Again, speculating on both a merchant and pirate, so we have a merchant and pirate hero along with a piece of merchant equipment, and then another pirate landmark. To be honest, outside of, just landmarks, or again, something to do with the treasure, although the treasure is its separate rarity, our lost treasure, if you will, I can't really think up just yet what I'd like to see for Pirate, so this is where my head's at least for our legendaries. Now, why have I gone with the certain slots for each of the inset legendaries? Well, in terms of Mech, if we look at the legendaries we currently have, as well as some of the other cards we have, my mind personally goes to Legs being the next sort of slot to shore up. So currently, Achilles Accelerator and our Heavy Industrial Gear Shift make up our 2 big pieces for Mech leg equipment. They both functionally do very similar things, but act as our Battle Wand and our Arcane Barrier. So I would expect something functionally a little bit different, right, as a legendary leg slot piece for Mech. Then for Ranger, again, if we look at what we have Trench, Quiver, New Horizon, Skullbone Cross Wrap, and of course our Perch Grapplers. Aside from another Quiver, right, I don't think we need a head slot because, again, New Horizon seems to be the go, or Skullbone Cross Wrap, right, they both have a niche effect that makes them functionally unique, right? In terms of legs, I can't see anything power creeping Perch Grapplers, and then we have our Trench of Sunken Treasure, which, to be honest, despite it being our pirate thematic, I don't think fits Marilyn as well as I'd like. So I'd like to see something else slotted in as a Ranger chest piece so that we don't have to continue taking Tunic, right? Because that's the next best alternative to our Trench. As for generic, right, I think it's time for arms. So again, looking at the card pool, we have our Arcanite pieces, we have our Spring Tunic for chest, we have, most recently, our Quick Dodge Flexes, so that leaves arms to me as the next piece of equipment. Now, Stonewall Gauntlet and Vambrace of Determination do seem some level of play, right, often outcompeted by actual class legendaries, but what I would personally like to see is another Arcanite piece. I think 3 would be the sweet spot in terms of how many Arcanite for Arcanite Fortress, and I'd also like to see some sort of rebound effect for arcane damage, right? Instead of preventing it, maybe just when you take 1 arcane damage, deal 1 arcane damage back to the opponent, something like that, right? As, again, the sort of crux of the arm slot being a power boosting or an attack slot, so I think that would make the most sense to me. And then, of course, for the reprints, right, I think it's on everyone's mind, either in Lion Strike or, of course, our Codex of Frailty going into a Ranger set, right? So I think that's pretty clear-cut. Those are definitely the top 2 picks in what we see up-printed to a Legendary, right, similar to Command and Conquer. Then lastly, that just brings us to the High Seas Fable. Now, I'm expecting a Pirate Yellow pitchable, and it to have some sort of correlation with gold, so I've mocked up our Cursed Coin with one of 2 effects. Either when this is pitched, if you control no gold tokens, create a gold token, or if this is pitched, you pay for gold, create a gold token. Out of the 2 of them, I think most rationally would be that first effect. So when this is pitched, if you control no gold tokens, you get to create another gold token, meaning that, again, if you pitch it to play gold, you don't get a gold token because you're pitching first, right? That's resolving, and then you're popping and destroying the gold token. So I think that would be the more balanced variant. I also can't see this whatsoever being for every single class. If this was a generic with that effect, right, it would be pretty bonkers because almost every class doesn't really run gold generation, so just a free gold token whenever you pitch it is just way too strong. So I would highly expect it to be a Pirate Fable or maybe a Necromancer Fable, but I think Pirate is what I would like more. And then the other effects, so if this is pitched to pay for gold, create a gold token, imagine it as, again, Cursed Coin, self-replicating coin, right? So you use it, you spend it on gold, you get a gold token back. That would be pretty nice, pretty efficient. But there we go. That's my speculation so far, at least, for High Seas. Let me know yours. Yeah.